Hi guys, and in this video I will show you how you can import the scan STL files into the SolidWorks software. So first off, you're gonna have to open the SolidWorks software, and then you have to click on files and open. Then after that you have to locate your files, which in this case I will show for the first group, which is G1. So I will open these files, but before that we have to click the options, and then we have to make sure that the type that we are importing is the graphics body, and the units must be millimeters. And then if everything is correct, then you can click OK, and then after that you can click open. Right here, so you can see that you have successfully imported the graphic files. So let's see first. You can see that this file is unlike the SolidWorks files that you have worked with before, is that you cannot modify on anything on this curve or the surface, because it is, if you zoom inside, it is actually the mesh, not the surface. So the first thing we're gonna do is that we have to create the surface on these meshes, right? So at first I will try to create a surface on this size. So you have to click mesh modeling, and then you have to click the option which is surface for mesh. And as you can see here, there are various types of surface for mesh to begin with. So the first one is the planar surface. So planar surface is actually used to combine all the mesh in that surface to become a single surface, right? This is pretty straightforward. And the second one is spherical surface, is actually doing the same thing, but in case of the object is perfectly spherical. And the third one is called the cylindrical surface, which is used to make the surface on the cylindrical part, which the best example of the cylindrical surface is this one here, which is in the pin side, and the last one is a conical surface, right? So since we want to make a surface on this, the bottom of the gear, so we have to choose the planar surface, and then they are asking you to select the seat facets, right? So what you have to do is that you have to zoom inside and you have to select the mesh, right? So make sure you select the mesh throughout the body, right? So make sure you have like at least 4 of them to avoid any error when the program is calculating for you. And then once you have successfully selected 4 of them, you have to click calculate. Then you have to wait for a few seconds or a few minutes depending on your computer. Alright, it seems like they have successfully selected all the meshes in this surface for you. You can see here it turns to be the pink color, and it is throughout all of them. And then after that you just click the OK button. Right, seems like they have successfully created the surface. As you can see, you can have a surface right here, and then just click the exit button. You can see that you have successfully created a surface for mesh. Then the first thing that we have to know is that we have to know the hole diameter, and we want to know the overall size of this gear. So what we have to do is that we have to right click on the surface that you have created and click on sketch, and you can see that it actually flips to the other side of the wheel. So simply fix this by pressing the spacebar key on your keyboard. and then you just move it around to see the normal to this face, right? And then first thing that I want to know is that I want to know the overall size of this gear, if it's actually too big or too small, so you can scale it before you do anything else, right? So my technique that I'm doing is that I'm drawing a line across the object. So I'm selecting line right here, then I'm selecting this point, and then selecting and then you don't have to select, you just are pointing it, right? And you can see that it is reading 59.2 millimeters, which is around roughly 6 centimeters, which is actually quite fine, and it is okay for this work. So actually we are okay with the size. And next, suppose you don't like the size, or it is actually bigger, or actually it is smaller and you want to resize it. So what you can do is that you can rescale it. So what you can do is that you have to exit the sketch first, right? Make sure it does not in the sketch. Then you have to click insert and then features and then scale, right? Scale. Oh, I'm sorry. So before you hit the scale, right, you have to select the graphic first. Select this graphic, and then you just hold the left shift key and just be sure that to select everything here, and then you just do it again as I have done before. We just insert features and scale, right? And scale, and you have seen that you have already selected all of them right now, and they say that they scale about centroid, and they scale out the origin and scale about the coordinate system, right? So you're gonna select uniform scaling, and then scale about, you wanna scale about the origin and not the centroid. Yeah, see, origin or maybe coordinate system is fine also. So suppose you want it to be bigger 2 times, so you're gonna type as 2, or suppose you want it to be smaller, you're gonna select like 0.5 and then just click OK button, and then just wait for it. Right, it seems like your file has already resized to half of the original size, but actually I do not want that in this model, so I'm gonna redo it again. Right, and then we just continue what we have left with before. So firstly, we have successfully made sure the distance of the gear, and then after that we want to know the hole size of this hole. So what we have to do is that we have to right click on the surface, and you have to select sketch, and then just hit the spacebar key and just make sure that it is pointing your wheel towards that object, toward the side of that object, and then you have to select the circle right here. And you can see that there's 2 types of circle that you can begin with. The first one is that the original one, the one that you guys have already known before, is that we just use this to click on the center of the circle, and you just expand it. And the second of them is actually create a circle from 3 points along the circumferences that you have. So we're gonna use this type, and then we're gonna click any of the point on these circles. We're gonna click this one as the first point, this one as the second point. Make sure it snaps right exactly onto the circle, and the third one here, this one will complete the circle. And let's see from the left hand side right here, you can see that it is 13.99999. Actually this is the radius, which is equal to 14, right? And the reason that it is left with this value because the 3D scanner actually have an error in the aspects of micron, and it is pretty normal and pretty acceptable to have these values. So what we have to do next in this case, I will just extrude this face to fill all of the hole. And actually you can just set the distance that you want to extrude this face. So in this case I'm not going to change anything, which is going to be 10 millimeters. And next I want to make a pin out of this gear, so we're gonna right click on this plane and click sketch, and then we're gonna use the circle. We're gonna use the original one, which is the center one, but you can see here we cannot find the center of the circle. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna use the line key, and then I'm gonna just draw a line from here and then to the bottom of the circle, just like that. And then let's do that again. It's gonna be up here and just along the edges up here, and then we're gonna draw the circle exactly right in the middle, and the radius right here you can design it by yourself. And let's extrude this as a pin outward. So let's say that we want around 10 millimeters is fine, right? And then you are finished with the first part, and then we're gonna save it. Next we're gonna do the second part. We're gonna click files and open again, and then we're gonna open the second files and make sure to get into the option to import it as a graphics body, and the unit is millimeters. Alright, we have just successfully opened the second one, and what we have to do, we have to make the surface from these meshes. So we have to click on mesh modeling, surface for mesh, and then we just use the plana surface, and then make sure you select at least 4 of them along these faces. Right, this is good enough, and then you just calculate. Alright, when it has successfully selected all the meshes for you, just click the OK button and wait for a few seconds or minutes. Alright, seems like they have completed creating the surface. So we have to right click on the surface and click sketch, and then we're gonna draw the circle along this circumferences. So we're gonna select the circle type to be the 3-point one. So we're gonna select this one and that one and that one, and then we successfully created these circles, and you can see that the dimension is 14.98, which is actually the radius of 15 millimeters. And then we have to extrude that onto the inner side of the hole, so you can see that it is actually the opposite side. So we're gonna click this one right besides the blind key, and then we're gonna extrude inside, and then we press OK button. Next we're gonna create a pin out of this shape, right? And if you could not find the center location for this one, you can use line and you try to snap the center of these circles, and then you can see that it will pop out right away. Then just draw the circle to be the pin. Once again, you can use any size that you want, but beware of the clearances to be appropriate, since if it's too tight, you will not be able to assemble it, or it's too loose, it may it may not hold it in places. So after you finishes all of the two parts, you're gonna have to save it, the file first, right? And then next you hit files and new, and then you click the assembly one, right? And then it will ask you to open the file, so you're gonna open the G1-1 first, right? Then you're gonna left click one time, and then this part will be settled on your model. And take note that the first part in the assembly, the program will not allow this part to be moved around. As you can see here, to fix that, you can right click on the model in the left pane and you click float right here. And you can see if you click once again, it will become fixed. So right now your part is roughly actually free to move, but sometime it could not move due to some reason. I will show you about it, why it cannot move. Okay, in this case you have to click on this solid body to move it. Okay, and after that you just import the second part, which is you can just go on to your photos that you save and you just directly drag them into the software. So then after that you just click this on this face also, and then when you want to align them together, you want to click the spacebar key, and then you're gonna look it from the top view, right? And this, since this subject is not all about the machine design, is all about for you to experience the 3D scanning and 3D printing. This one you can just visualize it by your eyes, that if it's perfectly aligned. Okay, so make sure it is not too tight, otherwise you will not be able to assemble it. Make sure you have just right space between two of the gears, and then you just zoom out, and then you gonna, when you want to know the distance of the center between them, you want to select the top plane and right click, and then you click the sketch. Then after that you just have to find the center of the circles first. Then you just, I'm gonna use this one, which is point, to sketch a point. This one you're gonna sketch the center of this one, and then we're gonna sketch the center of this one. Then after that I will just draw the line between these centers. You can see right here, you don't have to click it. You can see the program reads 69.56, which is the distance between two gears that you guys have to use. And this is all about this video, and thank you very much for listening.